Several new developments in South suburban Dalton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial reports.
Coming in, unfortunately, we knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done. But like I said, you have just some.
Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, Illinois, is once again at the center of a scandal that's more explosive than ever. Rumors are swirling about a dramatic twist in her ongoing feud with former assistant turned whistleblower Carmen Carlo. The latest allegations are straight out of a crime thriller, with claims that Henyard may have hired gang members to silence Carlo, the one person said to know all of her secrets. Accusations of betrayal, corruption, and even an alleged attempted murder plot have rocked the small Illinois town, leaving residents in shock. While it sounds like the plot of a movie, this is real life in Dalton, and the stakes couldn't be higher. As the story unfolds, questions are mounting about just how far Henyard is willing to go to protect her power. Stay tuned as this scandal continues to unravel, promising more twists, turns, and jaw-dropping revelations.
Who has investigated Henyard's use of a police security detail, taking officers off the street and costing thousands of.
Carmen Carlisle has suddenly become the talk of the town, and for good reason. Once a loyal confidant and trusted assistant to Mayor Tiffany Henyard, Carmen had a front-row seat to some of the mayor's most sensitive dealings. For a time, she appeared firmly entrenched in Henyard's inner circle, enjoying the perks of being close to power. Allegations suggest she may have even benefited from pivotal moments in Carmen's campaign against alcohol, including the misuse of city funds for personal gain. Seen as a key ally with insider knowledge of an administration facing growing scrutiny, Carmen's sudden shift from ally to whistleblower has sent shockwaves through Dalton's political scene. Her decision to speak out has exposed alleged corruption at the heart of the mayor's office, turning her from a behind-the-scenes figure into a central player in one of the town's most dramatic political sagas. Everything changed when Carmen Carlisle made a stunning about-face, choosing to expose her former boss rather than go down with the ship. In a move many interpret as self-preservation rather than altruism, Carmen turned on Henyard, bringing to light a trove of damaging information that has sent shockwaves through Dalton. Her revelations have painted a damning picture of alleged financial misconduct and a leadership style riddled with impropriety, further complicating Henyard's already embattled reputation. Critics call it a classic tale of loyalty dissolving into betrayal under pressure, as Carmen shifts from being an enabler to a whistleblower seeking to save her own skin. Her actions have left the town divided, with some viewing her as a hero standing up for accountability, while others see her as an opportunist who only spoke up when it served her interests. Regardless of motivation, Carmen's decision to turn on her former ally has escalated the drama surrounding Henyard's administration, bringing new questions and controversies to the forefront of Dalton's political discourse.
That's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next step.
Carmen Carlisle has become the talk of the town, but she wasn't always the whistleblower stirring up Dalton's political scene. Once a loyal confidant and trusted assistant to Mayor Tiffany Henyard, Carmen had a front-row seat to some of the mayor's most sensitive dealings. For a time, she appeared perfectly content within Henyard's inner circle, enjoying the perks that came with proximity to power. Some even allege that she benefited from questionable schemes involving the misuse of city funds for personal gain. Seen as a key ally with access to the inner workings of an administration facing growing scrutiny, Carmen's role suddenly shifted. Everything changed when she made a stunning about-face, choosing to expose her former boss rather than go down with the ship. A move many interpret as an act of self-preservation rather than altruism. Carmen Carlisle's decision to turn on Mayor Tiffany Henyard brought to light a trove of damaging information that has sent shockwaves through Dalton. Her revelations have exposed allegations of financial misconduct and a leadership style plagued by impropriety, further tarnishing Henyard's already embattled reputation. Critics describe it as a classic tale of loyalty dissolving into betrayal under pressure. Once seen as an enabler, Carmen is now viewed as a whistleblower seeking to save herself. Her actions have left the town deeply divided, with some hailing her as a hero, standing up for accountability, while others see her as an opportunist, who only spoke up when it served her own interests. Regardless of her motivation, Carmen's decision to turn on her former ally has escalated the ongoing drama within Henyard's administration. bringing new questions and controversies to the forefront of Dalton's political discourse.
Body, is this a reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for. You just got it.
Let's take a Tiffany Henyard's alleged efforts to silence Carmen Carlisle may be linked to the growing scrutiny surrounding her leadership. For some time, Henyard has faced mounting allegations of corruption and the misuse of taxpayer money, painting a troubling picture of financial mismanagement and personal indulgence at the town's expense. One of the most eye-hicking claims is that Henyard allegedly spent a staggering $33,000 in a single day on Amazon, a revelation that has left many residents questioning how such lavish spending could be justified in a town already grappling with financial challenges. But the Amazon spree is just the tip of the iceberg. Henyard has also been accused of making questionable charges on the town's credit cards, including high-end transactions at popular retailers like Target, Walgreens, and Wayfair. These purchases, which many believe have no clear connection to town business, have fueled growing concerns about her use of public funds and intensified calls for accountability. The lack of legitimate connection to Dalton's residents' needs only deepens the suspicion that Henyard may have been using public funds for personal gain. The absence of transparency and oversight surrounding these expenses has sparked outrage among residents, who are left questioning how their hard-earned tax dollars are being misused. As these allegations continue to stack up, Henyard's credibility has taken a severe hit, leaving her desperate to maintain control and avoid facing any consequences. This is where Carmen Carlisle's decision to blow the whistle becomes crucial. Once having access to the inner workings of Henyard's administration, Carlisle possesses key information that could reveal the full scope of the mayor's alleged misconduct. For Henyard, the threat posed by Carlisle's cooperation with federal investigators is existential. If Carlisle's testimony becomes public, it could be the final blow to her already fragile political career. The threat posed by Carmen Carlisle's revelations could be the final nail in the coffin of Tiffany Henyard's already faltering political career. Henyard's panic and attempts to silence Carlisle stem from the fear that the whistleblower's testimony could bring Dalton's financial scandals into the national spotlight, leading to legal consequences that not only jeopardize her political future, but could potentially land her in prison. The desperation to protect herself from these devastating revelations may explain why Henyard could resort to extreme measures, including violence or intimidation, to stop Carlisle. As the investigation unfolds, it becomes increasingly clear that Henyard's efforts to cover up her actions are driven by a singular desire to protect her own interests at all costs, regardless of the damage it may inflict on the town or its residents.
Make a one day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon. And the main thing is,
Under Tiffany Henyard's leadership, Dalton's finances have taken a catastrophic turn, plummeting from a healthy surplus of $5.61 million to a staggering deficit of $3.65 million. Her actions have not only bankrupted the town, but have also made life increasingly difficult for its residents, who are now demanding answers and accountability. Henyard's handling of Dalton's resources has left many questioning how their tax dollars have been squandered, with little to no benefit to the community. Amidst this financial crisis, Henyard, who often refers to herself as the super mayor and people's supervisor, now faces an even greater threat: Carmen Carlisle, her former ally who is testifying against her. What is it about Carmen's testimony that has Henyard so rattled? For one, Carmen knows all the hidden details. She was by Henyard's side throughout it all, aware of the secrets and decisions that could bring the mayor's entire administration down. Carmen Carlisle's inside knowledge makes her an incredibly dangerous adversary for Tiffany Henyard, as she not only witnessed, but also participated in the very crimes Henyard is now being accused of orchestrating. This puts Henyard's entire political empire at risk. Henyard's frustration goes beyond the fear of losing her position. It's the very real threat of facing legal consequences if Carmen's evidence proves solid. If Carlisle's testimony holds up, Henyard could be facing serious criminal charges and potentially significant jail time, further intensifying the pressure on her already fragile administration. But it's not just Carmen's betrayal that has Henyard on edge. She is also up against a growing list of adversaries eager to see her removed from office, including Lori Lightfoot, the former mayor of Chicago, who was recently hired to conduct a special investigation into Henyard's questionable spending practices. Despite Henyard's desperate attempts to block the investigation, calling it an Henyard's attempts to block the investigation, calling it an unconstitutional infringement on the powers of the office of mayor, were overridden by the town board, and Lori Lightfoot is moving forward with the probe. This investigation, combined with Carmen's explosive testimony, has placed Henyard in a perilous position, with the possibility of both political and legal ruin looming large. As the walls close in around her, Henyard's desperation to maintain control grows more evident, but her efforts to suppress the truth seem to be unraveling faster than she can manage. The stakes have never been higher, and Dalton's future now hangs in the balance as Henyard faces a fierce battle for her political survival against an ever-growing tide of opposition.
It's shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
The findings so far are damning. Not only is Dalton's budget in disarray, but numerous unexplained expenses suggest widespread misuse of funds. What makes the situation even more unbelievable is how Tiffany Henyard seems to operate with impunity, despite the growing list of allegations against her. She continues to hold significant power in Dalton, largely untouched by the consequences of her actions. Some claim she has built a fortress of loyalty around herself, using a mix of patronage and intimidation to keep her allies close and her enemies at bay. But how has she maintained such control in a town flooded with both local police and federal investigators? One theory that has gained traction is that Henyard may have ties to the local criminal underworld. This rumor has only gained more weight following the alleged attack on Carmen Carlisle, Henyard's former ally turned whistleblower. If Henyard is willing to misuse taxpayer funds for extravagant shopping sprees and luxury trips, what would stop her from resorting to even more drastic measures to protect her position? The possibility that she could be using local gangs to carry out her dirty work, particularly in silencing those who threaten her power, has become a chilling concern for many. While this theory remains speculative, it's not entirely far-fetched, given the pattern of questionable spending, Henyard's apparent lack of accountability, and the escalating violence surrounding her administration. The continued reports of her ability to evade legal and political consequences have fueled suspicions that her control over Dalton may be more than just political maneuvering. It could be deeply tied to criminal elements lurking beneath the surface. As federal investigators and residents alike begin to uncover the full extent of her alleged wrongdoing, Henyard's grip on power and the lengths she may go to preserve it are becoming increasingly uncertain, with the threat of more revelations looming just ahead.
Debt, and that is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor
Tiffany Henyard has already been linked to criminal elements with a past criminal record that includes being jailed for criminal trespassing and tampering with automobiles in 2016. Past incidents suggest she isn't afraid to use force to get what she wants. If the rumors are true, they paint a terrifying picture of a mayor who will stop at nothing to hold on to power, even if it involves violence. The township residents are paying the price for her actions. There have even been rumors that she planned an attack on a rival politician who dared to publicly criticize her. Looking at the bigger picture, Dalton, once a relatively affluent town, is now drowning in debt, with a population growing increasingly irate and disillusioned due to Henyard's suspected corruption and theft. The ongoing FBI probe continues to uncover more troubling details, casting a dark shadow over Henyard's leadership. The investigation into Tiffany Henyard's leadership reveals more than just financial mismanagement. It uncovers a troubling pattern of misuse where public funds were allegedly used for personal indulgences. Reports indicate that Henyard has used government money to maintain a lavish lifestyle, paying for first-class flights, 5-star hotel stays, and even a personal security detail that rivals those of prominent celebrities. Despite being under scrutiny, she continues to spend taxpayer dollars on extravagant luxuries. As one frustrated resident pointed out at a recent town meeting, "You're not accountable, you don't respect people who disagree with you, and you're not qualified for that seat." These strong words reflect the growing sentiment among the town's residents that Henyard's days in office may soon be numbered. Calls for Tiffany Henyard's resignation are growing louder, and many believe it's only a matter of time before she is removed, either by the law or by the will of the people. I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, nothing. Just me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on, Henyard said in an attempt to assert control. The tension in Dalton is palpable as residents, fed up with Henyard's antics, demand justice. Talks of protests, petitions, and even a recall election are gaining traction. The people want their town back, and they are determined not to let a so-called super mayor trample over their community any longer. The sense of urgency is further fueled by the ongoing investigations, which seem to unveil new allegations almost daily. The FBI, state prosecutors, and even the Illinois Attorney General are now focused on Dalton, signaling that Henyard's unchecked power is quickly coming to an end. Despite this, Henyard remains defiant, continuing to hold onto her position as the storm around her intensifies. Defiant, Tiffany Henyard has made it clear that she has no intention of stepping down, even as the walls close in around her. She continues to deny all accusations, calling them baseless attacks from political enemies and disgruntled former employees. However, the evidence is mounting, making it harder for Henyard to dismiss the claims against her, especially with Carmen Carlisle's dramatic shift from ally to whistleblower. The stakes have never been higher. Federal investigators are closing in on those around her, and it's clear that Henyard's grip on power is weakening. Fans also have strong opinions, and they're not keeping them to themselves. One viewer commented, "Remember that a whistleblower is someone who came forward on their own, not someone who made a deal with authorities to avoid prosecution as an informant." Justice serves as a clear reminder that Carmen isn't really a hero in this story. She's simply defending herself, and her intentions are anything but honorable. Another admirer pointed out, although we all knew she was a whistleblower, she didn't mean to apologize. She just didn't want to find herself in Tiffany Henyard's position. Calls for Tiffany Henyard's resignation are growing louder, and many believe it's only a matter of time before she is removed, either by the law or by the will of the people. I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, nothing. Just me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on, Henyard said in an attempt to assert control. The tension in Dalton is palpable as residents, fed up with Henyard's antics, demand justice. Talks of protests, petitions, and even a recall election are gaining traction. The people want their town back, and they are determined not to let a so-called super mayor trample over their community any longer. The sense of urgency is further fueled by the ongoing investigations, which seem to unveil new allegations almost daily. The FBI, state prosecutors, and even the Illinois Attorney General are now focused on Dalton, signaling that Henyard's unchecked power is quickly coming to an end. Despite this, Henyard remains defiant, continuing to hold onto her position as the storm around her intensifies.